tale of Sir Richard the Lionhearted and the making of a queen. Once upon a time, in the land of golden hearts, Sir Richard the Lionhearted, with a heart of gold, ruled his subjects in fairness, honor, and kindness. Being second to the throne, he knew in between his exploits, his inventions, his battles, and other royal duties, he must find the one who was strong and supportive, beautiful, wise, adventurous, and passionate. Sir Richard was loved and feared by many, because as a true lion descendant of his royal grandfather's legacy, he knew to never settle for second best in anything. One day, as he rode gallantly back to his castle from war, he noticed in the distance a striking peasant girl, noticeable even in her ragged attire, being grabbed and knocked around by a group of drunkard men as she tried to serve them dinner as was required of her class. She did not yell. She tried her best to cover herself modestly. And Sir Richard rode into the brothel, and with sword in hand he fought off 12 men, and with his strong arm lifted her onto his horse, swiftly taking her to the palace of his courtyard servants to be cared for, groomed, and taught his royal ways. With the grace of a lioness, she bowed and thanked the knight, humbly bowing and kissing his hand, and he assured her he would return at the appointed time. She felt so comforted, although unaware of his intent. The maids took her in, and after scented oils and baths and meticulous grooming, she was clothed in royal costume and jewels in her hair, glowing in the moonlight. She was taught to sing and play her instrument, trained how to speak and ride a horse. She was taught history and grace and responsibility. She was confused as to this treatment until the maids informed her of her royal wedding night soon approaching. She pondered, how could she please such a man? But was more than willing to do so, and she was told that a week of testing by Sir Richard himself before the wedding approached, and 7 pearls would be given upon the completion of each test. The day approached, and Sir Richard rode to her door on his best horse, and in his royal costume such as she had never seen before. And his hazel eyes glowed and sparkled, and his smile was of charm, kindness, and confidence that demanded utmost respect. She was the guest of his at the royal dinner, and dazzled his court with her intelligence and beauty and social graces, and the kindness could be felt by all who were present. He took her hand and led her onto the dance floor and presented her with the first pearl on a golden chain, and with the most passionate kiss she had ever had, and such great feelings of love she had never felt before, and an embrace that made her feel safe. The next test was to see and test the kindness of her very soul. Sir Richard watched as she sought to save the wounded animal, the worried, hungry child, or the frail elderly grandmother from falling. The servant delivered her the pearl, the second of 7, as Sir Richard observed her behavior from his balcony. Her third test involved agility, grace, and determination in friendly competitions of all kinds. She proved she could win and even lose with charm, and to Sir Richard's approval the third pearl was delivered. Often seen praying before beginning her day, and in her actions with her servants, her humility was tested, and the 4th pearl was given once again to her necklace. The 5th, the 6th, and the 7th pearl were to be given by the royal Sir Richard himself over the next 3 days, if she passed, testing her passion, her absolute trust. On day 5, he took her on his royal horse to his favorite waterfall, where they swam and laughed and danced into the wee hours of the night. And then the storm struck, and the river began to rage, and the trees bent as in pain, and the rain poured down upon them heavily. He covered her with his cape, as he remained soaking wet. And when they came to the drawbridge over the river they had to cross, he stopped to pray. True heroes always stop to pray. Trees had fallen, and a fire had started, and the smoking was making it hard to breathe. There was no going back. The queen-to-be now faced the biggest test as yet. And to console her heart for her bravery so far, he handed her the 5th pearl, which she clung to ever so tightly. He began to cross the bridge, but it swayed and it shook until he saw the supports beneath begin to crumble. He knew he must act quickly, as the fire now behind them could be seen. He dismounted from his horse and lifted her off in strength despite the wind, safely to the ground, and told his horse to run, as he knew surely the bridge could break if the horse remained. He spoke firmly but gently. There was no other way but to hold him tightly and to jump into this raging river, as the bridge behind was already on fire, and the smoke and the fire approached them ever so closely, making it hard to breathe. He assured her he would not let her go. He assured her they would survive. She shook in fear, torn between her trust in her king and her fear of the water and the fire behind. To stay was to burn. To run would make the bridge collapse. And she only hoped the horse would make it to the end before it did. He looked into her eyes and said, Now is the time. Trust me. Hold tight. Jump." She was shaking, but the courage and the love in his eyes made her think there was hope. As they fell into the river below, the rapids carried them at least 20 feet, and he didn't let go. He held her head above the water, and his beneath, if need be, so that she could stay afloat. And he swam as hard as ever as they neared the rock by the shore before the drop-off. And miraculously he got her and him to the shore, as the bridge on fire could be seen falling into the river in many pieces. He had never let go of her, and now they were out of the river and off the bridge. And lo and behold, the trusting horse was standing there, as if God himself led the horse to them, waiting to take them back on the secret road to the castle. She hugged the horse and kissed the king, and he gave her the 6th pearl as she passed the test of trust and faith. They rode speedily back to safety, as the rain, a great godsend, had put the fire out miraculously. They collapsed and fell asleep on a rug before the fireplace as they expressed their undying love for each other. In the morning the servants found them, and with joy expressed their relief and their safety, and the wedding plans began. With 6 pearls on her necklace, and jewels in her hair, and satin, silk, and golden ribbons, she made herself ready for the wedding. The choir sang angelically. The savory smells of bakery and the royal meal to follow filled the room, and flowers were strewn everywhere, and scented candles burned. And after their vows were said, and the trumpets declared, the marriage was official and sealed and blessed by God. The 7th pearl was given her, after the kiss of a lifetime, and it was the gift of his royal golden heart, that time could not fade, nor problems destroy, that floods and storms or fire or raging rivers could not quench. And as the trusted royal horse carried them to the banquet hall, the world stopped for a moment, and all was right with the world. If you would like to have your own royal fairy tale written for the one you love, next to God and family and your children, having a love like Sir Richard had for his queen and the queen for her king is the biggest blessing on earth. If you can, read the Win-Win Solution Contract and the Counseling Mentality of FDR is His Reason for Greatness, a guide for leaders, on Amazon. You can even read it on Kindle. If you want your own personal fairy tale, please write Deborah Winger at Outlook.com. It can be designed with your loved one's name and put into a scroll that you can hang on the wall, the gift of a lifetime worth more than diamonds or pearls. Customize with your name as the queen and the love of your life as the king. God bless you as you search for love.